Okay, so today we're going to apply real quick to several Upwork jobs that I have found on Upwork for our NLP engineers. So here they are. So I have found 4 projects and we will discuss whether to apply to them. And yes, let's get started. Real quick, so let's start with this one. Build a web app API plus sentiment analysis, and that is something we are really good at. The description, I have actually looked through all the descriptions already by this time, but just to remind myself what this is about, it is to build a web application that would generate a report by using commercially available APIs, okay, that return Google search engine results. Okay, and then it should conduct NLP sentiment analysis to display a final report. Okay, so this is absolutely something that we would be most interested in. Let's submit a proposal. Okay, so I have 2 NLP engineers registered on Upwork from my team who can do this job. Actually, both of them can. So select a team and I have just one team. And well, that's a question, who we should start it. So let's start with me. Right. And another thing is that I have a premium account, otherwise I wouldn't be able to apply on behalf of my team members. So, and I can see that bid range for this project is, so the highest is $90, I presume, per hour. So, and the average is like $40 per hour. With the median being $13 per hour. I am going to use the exact wording that this customer has used in order to describe the project with, and that will actually help to raise a certain type of interest from that customer. So that is why, so a small tip here is I'm copy and paste the entire project description into my cover letter, and then I'm sort of rephrasing their own words so that to give them an understanding that I have actually read the description and I'm replying to what they were saying. This is just a small hack. Okay, so let me proceed. Okay, so let me show you what I'm going to send as a proposal. So the first thing, I chose a freelancer that I want to apply this contract for. I proposed my rate. I even made it a little bit higher for this freelancer because this is not a trivial job and this is a pretty tricky, I would say, task. So we might need to attract some of our web developers as well, so not only NLP engineers, but maybe someone else who would do part of the job better. And yes, this is what I write as my application to a proposal. So thank you for posting. Of course, if you have a name of your client, that is very important that you put a name here. But since they didn't indicate their name and I couldn't find it among their feedback that their previous customer sent them, so it's just hi. Okay, of course, thank you for posting. You should thank a person who took the time to describe the project so well as they did. And then I'm providing some really custom response to their project. So I'm interested in helping you out with what? Building the application and further sentiment analysis. And then I throw in my questions to make them reply. So I have a question about the final report, because they were mentioning in their description that they have some final report that they need to be illustrated in a certain way and be provided as a PDF or downloadable stuff. So could you please clarify the Aplescu style, because they mentioned it in their description, and I got the idea of it being clear and simple, but any extra preferences. Also, can I see an example of the input and output data? This is extremely important, and this is one of the first questions you should ask, because all the descriptions might not be really relevant to what they want to achieve. So it's really important to clarify that, to see their input and what they want to receive as an output. Okay, I'm willing to provide you with my thoughts on the approach I want to take. However, there are some points I'd like to clarify first. By the way, any preferences on NLP libraries on your part? instead of this line, I could have make some certain call to action, for example, ready to jump on a call with you to discuss the details, for example. And I'm submitting a proposal. So as this is an hourly based contract, so nothing else is required. So the next step, we are waiting for the customer to reply back. The application to the previous project took me like 25 minutes, and that is not that is a like medium time that it takes to reply to a job posting on Upwork. Sometimes it takes less, sometimes it takes more, especially if they want you to provide some how do you see your approach, how would you take, what route you would take in order to deliver results for us. And then you have to be creative and you have to write a long read so that they could actually understand that you not only read the description, but that you are the right person to do that. Sometimes it takes significantly less if like the project has like zero description, and you can put in some generic cover letter that you have, or something really simple like, could you send me more details please. And sometimes it takes like half an hour, just like in this case where I used some of their own expressions and just to rephrase them in order to receive some sort of a feedback from the customer, because as soon as the dialogue starts, that's when you can negotiate the deal. Next project I want to apply for is about automation and document review process. We have done something similar in the past, and even though the proposals are like 20 to 50, it's huge. I want to apply, I want still to apply because this is something that we did and that we can do well. And the feedback, the client recent history and the feedback that other freelancers gave to this customer are really well, and they seem really genius. There is no passive-aggressive tones in between the lines. So I want to apply to this project, and let me submit a proposal. And given that the competition is already high here, I would like to apply on behalf of one of my most experienced freelancers here on Upwork, and let me choose this freelancer. Even though I do not meet all the clients' preferred qualifications, like they want English level fluent, and she has like upper intermediate, so it's not advanced, but still it's pretty much conversational. And the earnings are at least 1,000, and she's like her earnings are like 800. Let's hope that that would be enough to pass the initial review. Okay, so let me start this way. Hi Toby, because I have seen again a small tip that if you are able to understand the client's name from, for example, from the feedback other contractors gave them, please use that name. And I will be using here the same approach I took when writing my previous response to a job post. What I wrote finally, so again it took me like 15 minutes this time. Everything seems clear in this description and everything is outlined perfectly. So this is an example of the perfectly outlined description. I really don't have any questions for him at this stage, and so I just asked him if there are any deadlines, because sometimes they want it to be done like yesterday. Okay, so and I'm clarifying the deliverables, and again the last line is call to action, ready to jump on the call to clarify the details if possible. Now a huge mistake I see many freelancers making is that they apply with generic text, generic cover letters that give like zero context for the customer, zero context in terms of whether they actually read the description and whether they understand what is required from them. And that is an important thing, because when I hired contractors on Upwork, I have a client account on Upwork as well, it's really embarrassing to see like generic advance, hi, we are like a web development agency, we have done this and that. I didn't ask you what you have done, I just want to know whether you can do my project. So reply to me specifically. So, and I don't like long reads, and nobody actually reads those long reads of your achievements, so don't post them. be as precise as possible. And he had like two questions, but those are like generic questions. What past project or job you have had like this one, and what part of project most appeals to you. Those are generic questions that any customer can choose when posting a job. So no specific questions like what specific NLP libraries you will be using. If he would have asked this question, I would have to go to my NLP engineers and ask for their opinion and their thoughts, because I'm not an NLP engineer, and that would have been a complicated question for me. So he had very generic questions. What past job like this one you had? And luckily, Olga, on behalf of whom I'm applying to this project, she had a similar project on Upwork for Russian language documents, and she had done a similar project for French and English languages, and we even have a case study on our website for that one. So no questions here. And what part of this project most appeals to it? I don't know, all of it. And I attach her CV, which is brilliant. She is a PhD in computer science, and she has a track of projects in her CV. So I'm attaching her CV just to impress the customer. And I'm submitting the proposal. Another mistake I see many freelancers doing is that they see like small budget, like $50 or $100, and they do not apply because like the job, it is understandable that the job would require like 10 or 20 or 40 hours, and multiplied by their hourly rate, that is not the amount of money that they are willing to do the job for. So I would recommend to apply anyways and to negotiate with the customer, because sometimes those amounts of money are just placeholders, and you can negotiate the deal with the customer. You can explain what it will take and take it from there. Some customers might comply, some not. Of course, that is if you have extra connects. Stay productive.